staff's not that high, but you could still do 3 times 7 to 8 a day, 21 a day. You could do 450 facials, 400 to 450 a month. Our average revenue per facial is probably around 150. So you could do 60,000 a month if you did 400.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Pursuit of Profit podcast. Today we're joined by Tim Mulcahy. I guess he's founder and CEO of Skin Experts by Brentwood Spa. This is our second facials brand that we've had on the pod. There are even more out there. This is clearly an emerging category. Something's happening here in skincare. It's very popular on social media. It's just this is becoming a thing, and we'll see. Like, the question is, are any of these brands going to actually gain traction? It seems like the kind of thing where everyone's wait and see. Nobody wants to be franchisee number one. I think once it starts gaining some steam and we start seeing successful, happy, profitable franchisees, it's going to take off. But it seems like a slow grow initially. We'll see which brand starts to make it happen.
Right. This is the story of bet on the jockey, not the horse. This guy has a really good background, really good. This guy built a $4 billion company that went public in the energy space. So I would expect this guy to understand how to scale a business, how to support his franchisees. And what we talked about today with that flat royalty, the fact that all products are proprietary, they make all of them, they manufacture everything. That's interesting to me because they're not subject to their franchisees buying products from third-party vendors. They're manufacturing it. So I think that increases profitability, I would say at least 10 points to the bottom line because how he's controlling distribution, pricing. And that flat rate royalty at $1,500, you said it best on the show. It's unheard of. And for brick and mortar beauty, unheard of.
I don't know that anyone else is doing that. At a $1,500 a month flat rate, if you're doing $60,000 a month top line, it's 2.5%, and the percentage only goes down from there. So
it's impressive. I like what he's building.
Yeah,
and
they're making their money on the products, but the brand's sexy. You have a successful entrepreneur behind it. Like all the rest of them, they have to sell franchises. They have to grow it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, enjoy the show.
I swear, like half of Instagram now is women showing their daily skincare routine and protocol. Right. And now we're starting to see this creep into franchising. We had one of your competitors on a couple of months ago. There's now multiple brands getting into this skincare space. And it's starting to feel, Tim, like this is what happened years ago before massage became a monthly membership thing in franchising, and everyone before that was just going to a luxury day spa and spending a couple $100 on a massage a couple times a year. Is this what you see happening? Like, it's just going to be facials will be a normal part of our month, 1 or 2 facials a month, and everyone's getting facials.
I mean, I would like to go. Listen, if there was a Skin Experts near me, I would be going. I mean, it is self-care, and ultimately, the world is more stressful today, I guess, in real terms than it ever has been. Although, listen, we've always been at times where the world's been difficult. Think about through the wars and Vietnam and all that, but it seems like everybody's more stressed out more than ever. And a lot of it has to do with, social media and, my life's not as good as theirs, and I need to look better, and, that type of world today. I mean, I personally am not on social media because I don't have the time to waste. I'm too busy. And the world's more competitive than ever before. People do need the self-care. I mean, if you got a choice, okay, I'm going to go for self-care once a month, which a lot of our clients come in more than once a month. But let's say even once a month might seem like a lot to go for a facial. Like, I like the business because I did go for facials before COVID, probably once every 3 months. I would go to my local spa, go for a facial, just as a form of self-care. Listen, you could go for a massage or go for a facial. What would you rather go for? Well, when you go for a facial, usually you get a bit of a massage too. So, that for me was not an uncommon thing, but that was maybe once every 3 months. But today, a lot of our clients come in at least once a month or more often than once a month. And I think it's okay, if I'm going to go for self-care, do I want a massage or do I want something to do with my face? One's going to make me look better. One's going to make me feel better. One's going to make me feel better and look better. Well, I'll go for the one that's going to make me feel better and look better rather than one that's just going to make me feel better.
Yeah.
So I think
it's a good point.
Yeah, that's the consensus with facials. It is becoming more common. Our clients are coming in more, but obviously wherever we are, not everybody where we live, is a client. We'd like them to be.
Self-care has been very resilient. It's something that people consider to be discretionary spending. The massage brands weathered many economic storms and the great financial crisis, and people continue to focus on self-care during stressful times.
Yeah, I mean it's healthy, right? It's good for you.
Exactly. Look and feel good. That's a win-win.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want Justin. I have to go back. Tim is a serial, highly accomplished entrepreneur, and we'd be doing the audience a disservice if we didn't touch on the multi-billion-dollar business that he's created. He's an accomplished author of a sales training book. So, can you go back, Tim? Take us back, like your beginning. You're inspiring to people listening.
Yeah,
You got a great background.
I did not grow up in a family where wealth was discussed. I grew up in Ottawa, Canada. My dad was the manager of Canadian Press. My mom didn't work. We weren't poor, okay, but we had one washroom, 3 brothers and one washroom. And my dad didn't make a lot of money, although it was listen, if you're head of American Press in the US, you'd think you'd get paid a lot of money. He was head of Canadian Press. He oversaw the journalism and images that went into papers across Canada, but he didn't get paid a lot of money. My family, overall, extended family, grandparents and that, nobody ever talked about money. So it wasn't something that was discussed in the household, being wealthy. This is the late 60s and early 70s. And, if a nice car drove down the road in my neighborhood, that would have been a Corvette. There wouldn't have been any exotic cars like Ferraris or Lambos or anything like that at that point in time. But, I'd point that out and there would be kind of no comment. Okay. I mean, there was, finances were not discussed. So when I was apparent that I wasn't going to probably graduate from high school, I did skip a grade in school. I would have graduated when I was 16, but neither my parents or my teachers had done any goal setting with me or my grandparents, about what I was going to do or be. And I mean, in grade 12, I think when they asked everybody what they were going to be, the school that I went to, half of it was like where I lived, where one parent worked and they were kind of middle class or a little, somewhere in there at that time. And then half of it were fairly wealthy Jewish business people. And, most of those kids, had their hands up, lawyer, doctor, accountant. It came around to me and it's like, I didn't know. Right. So the teacher said, get out in the hall. So I didn't know what I wanted to do at the beginning of grade 12. So, as it went around, I took a part-time job on the phone, telemarketing for Filter Queen vacuums, getting leads. And I enjoyed it. I was always competitive. I always played sports and was very competitive, and liked it. And I'd been there for a few months and I wasn't doing that well. And one of the sales guys was getting his own office in Peterborough, Ontario. And he said, Tim, when I get my own office, why don't you come and sell for me? And I said, yeah, okay. And, I talked to my mom about it and my dad, and if they'd be able to co-sign a car for me. And my dad told me, hey, me and your mom looks like we're not going to make it. We're going to be splitting up. And I'm not going to be able to co-sign a car because if you miss the payment, I wouldn't be able to pay the mortgage. And so I actually talked my grandparents into co-signing a vehicle for me, although my grandmother wanted me to go to school and be a lawyer. That wasn't going to happen. My grades weren't that good, and I wasn't that motivated to go to school. But they co-signed a car, and I quit school when I was 16, and I started selling vacuums. And I remember my boss, KK Puri, gave me this book, Think and Grow Rich. And I read it, and it meant nothing to me at the time. It was like, really? This can't be even true. Actually, it was repelling to me. I've read the book probably 10 more times since then, but at the time it was like, this can't be true. You can't actually think and grow rich. This doesn't make any sense. Wealth had no place in my brain at all. But as the first couple of years as a salesperson was really tough, I was on 100% commission. I was always on 100% commission for the 9 years that I sold in the field. And my first couple of years were tough, but after about 2 years, I started to get good at it. And I started to make, by the time I was 18, I was making $40,000 a year, which was probably more than my dad. By the time I was 20, I was making 100. And by the time I was 23, I was making over $500,000. This is in the mid 80s, then I started my own business, and that was knocking on doors in small town Saskatchewan. I mean, the average person was making 50. I was making over 500. I was just super motivated and into it. I was a little different. There was a lot of other really good home improvement salesmen, and that's what I was selling. But most of them would, go out and take advantage of a customer and then not work for 2 weeks and go party. And I would just work every day, all day, and I would just put in a fair margin on my deals, not a gouging type margin. And I worked it more like a blue collar worker rather than, okay, I made some sales, I made some money, I can go to the bar now. It was like a regular job type of thing, except I usually work more hours than a regular job. And then I started a series of door-to-door sales companies and ended up meeting my partner, Pearson McDonald, God bless him. And he was a great sales trainer. I was a great salesperson, but I didn't know much about theory. And he trained me on it. He was like 16 years older than me. He'd been selling encyclopedias for 16 years, and he was a real theorist. Started explaining me the theory of what I was doing. And then we started to teach this to hundreds and then thousands of other people in various door-to-door sales businesses. The one business we got into in the energy business did run up to about $4 billion a year in sales, and from door-to-door and business-to-business selling. And ultimately, it was just a matter of, hey, we were in a rare business. That the fact that sometimes in those first 2 years, I wanted to quit a few times, and even in the first 3, but I had nothing to go back on. My bridges were literally burnt behind me, and there was nothing to fall back on. So I just had to go forward with it.
Love it. Look what you built with it. Did you sell the energy company?
That one ended up going public. And then I left a little after we went public, and my partner, Rebecca McDonald, she ended up running it, and she was 6 times the Woman CEO of the Year in Canada.
Wow.
I had been in the energy business for 12 years, and I'd had enough. I wanted to get into the health and wellness business, and so I kind of left for that reason, or a couple of reasons, and have been into some various businesses. But I'm back in the energy business now, along with Skin Experts, and I've got a energy brokerage company in the U.S. and an energy supply company in Canada. And those are 2 of my activities along with Skin Experts.
Tim, so bridge the gap here. Take us from the energy company. How did Skin Experts all come together?
It really came together from a friend of mine during the CBD craze saying, CBD and skincare, Tim, we should do something. CBD is super hot. And I needed another business like a hole in the head, to be honest with you. I did know some skincare formulators, people that had been in the skincare business. And I asked them what they thought about CBD and skincare. And one of them, Ginger Fox, said, well, Tim, I developed the first CBD skincare 7 years ago. And yeah, it really is a good ingredient because of 2 reasons. One, the essential fatty acids, which are super high in moisture, and also it seals in the moisture in your skin. And I said, well, could you come up with a product with CBD and some other great ingredients? And she and her friend that I know both of them, they happened to be going to the Paris skincare show that year. It would have been early 2019. And they said, yeah, Tim, the hottest ingredients are CBD, probiotics, and microalgae. And I said, okay, well, why don't we make some products that those are the 3 foundation products? And that's really how the skincare line started. And then we started selling it directly, which is my business, selling B2B. We started selling to spas, and we sold it to about 500 spas from the end of 2019 in early 2020. And then COVID hit, and the skincare business was just knocked on its butt because unlike food, you can't take out a facial. Any personal service business, whether it would be massage, skincare, or hair cutting and that type of thing, was really down to zero. So we had some time to sit and think, and it was, there is no facial spa that you can go to that you can trust that, hey, the treatment's good, the cost is fair. Where I live, down in Southern Cal, just outside of San Diego, the town I live in, Rancho Santa Fe, a facial in there, it starts at like $335 or something like that. And our facials start, our one-off facial where we give the works is only $135, but if they buy a membership, they can get it as low as $70, right? So, and it's probably a better facial than you'd get in Rancho Santa Fe for $335. So even if you go a little further out from where I am, to the spa over there, Rancho Valencia, it's like the base facial's like $225, $250 type of thing. It's like, I don't know if it's doing my skin any good or not. They're tearing my skin apart a little bit. I'm not sure if it's any good. Now that I'd learned more from Shelly Hancock, our chief beauty officer, that, all this ripping and tearing at your skin actually isn't good for your skin, which would make sense that it wouldn't be. Okay. Because I'd seen some of the things that my wife had done to her own skin, although she has good skin and looks good, but it just seems that, hey, sometimes people will do anything to want to appear better, even though it might be damaging for their skin.
Right. That was the beginning. So you actually created it. You didn't acquire it. You created the concept and started opening locations.
Yeah, we created the concept of affordable luxury skincare you can trust. Yes.
Location number 1 was Brentwood?
That's right.
Okay.
You mentioned that you're not the most expensive, but you have numbers and KPIs and metrics here in your pitch deck. I'm assuming they're in your franchise disclosure document. You're showing 81% gross margins.
Yeah, well, we don't, obviously, the cost of doing a facial is time, right? So that's the esthetician's time, and we manufacture all of our own products. So the back bar, the component of the products, is not very expensive if you're the manufacturer. Most skincare companies charge the spas that they sell to 50% of retail. Because we manufacture our own products, our franchisees, our offer to them is 65 off. So there's a much better margin for them. Instead of 50%, it's closer to 200% margin on their products that they sell. So it's a really good deal for the franchisee. Also our franchise fee, most franchises charge, call it an average of 6 to 8% plus advertising, an average of between 8 and 11%. So let's say you're doing $60,000 a month in sales, you're paying 5 to 65 to the franchisor. Ours is $1,500 flat, and we get
rate royalty.
Yeah, and we give 65 off. So it's a very low royalty, and we want our franchisees to succeed. A lot of franchisees and a lot of businesses, as you know, they end up not being profitable, not making a lot of money.
Wow, that's interesting, Tim. So you have a flat rate royalty. Obviously, they have to buy the product from you, so you're picking up the revenue stream because you manufacture the product and they're getting a deep discount. Yep. What about the national ad fee? What did you do with that?
We don't have a national ad fee currently.
Okay.
That's interesting for a concept like this, and extremely rare
I agree.
to have a
I
flat
agree.
rate royalty.
Yeah, it's a
no
good deal for
marketing
the
fee.
brand. I mean, it has to be win-win. I mean, we want to have 1,000 locations, and the only way we're going to do that is if it's win-win.
Very interesting. So let's go to, franchisees and prospective franchisees love anything proprietary. You cannot get this anywhere but here. What exactly are you manufacturing? Is it the creams, the serums? Is it the exfoliation products?
It's every product. It's every product.
It's every
the pepper,
product.
It's the peels. It's the exfoliation. We've got 2 cleansers, one gentle, one. It is really gentle, but it's an exfoliating cleanser, so it's a little more of an exfoliant. And our peels, TCA peel, enzyme peel, radiance peel, all of our serums and creams, our mask, etc. So everything we manufacture, there's no product that they would need besides what we provide, and they're all very high quality.
Just to be clear, there's nothing medical about this. We're hiring estheticians to apply product, use certain tools to do facials. We're not injecting Botox and all that
Nothing
other stuff.
invasive. No, the whole goal was to be not invasive.
Okay.
Again, when we started off and we started to research the business, and we had people like Hydrofacial come in and rip at my skin. My wife would never let them get near her. Okay. Although she would do other stuff to her skin. But, the thing about it is that we did not want to have invasive type treatments. The whole idea is we can treat your skin. Shelley can treat your skin in a really great way without being invasive.
Interesting. Hydrofacials claim that they're non-invasive.
Right. That's interesting, right, Cliff? Because we had another brand on the show, and I believe they did a lot of the hydrofacial. Yeah.
Well, it's the most popular facial in the world. Every 15 seconds, someone in the world is doing a hydrofacial. So if you flip the script and figured out a better way of doing that they're claiming it's non-invasive, but you're right. There's a lot of pulling.
I have heard that you don't want to pull.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it rips at your skin. Like my skin was red and sore after going for a hydrofacial. I mean, my skin would be normal. It would not be tough or sensitive. That's why we kept looking. We said, there's no way, that we want to rip and tear at people's skin.
Yep.
It's not something that we wanted to do, so I think that Hydrofacial's own is a public company, right? So their own share price, would indicate that it's maybe not as popular as it was 2 years ago.
Interesting. Okay. This is a huge market. Just U.S. facial skincare market, $27 billion.
I'm growing. As you know, skincare, like I've got a 13-year-old. She just turned 13. I mean, all she wanted to do was go to Sephora.
Right.
I mean, they're like skin. It's starting at a very young age now.
Yes, it is.
It's not going away. So the marketplace is very large. And again, if there was a Skin Experts near us, I would be there probably weekly. My Shea would be there probably weekly. Shea's skin's better than mine, so maybe every 2 weeks. She's a lot younger. Pretty sure my 13-year-old, she's got a bit of acne. She would be there regularly. We've got a great teen acne program, and I'm sure my wife would be there regularly. Like, the thing about it is to get great skincare treatments that are non-invasive is, as you say, there's the self-care aspect of it, and then there's the beauty aspect of it. You're covering both at once.
Yeah, Justin, I got that whole hashtag Sephora Kids trend. These are the kids that have beautiful skin, but they're still buying rejuvenators and collagen boosters. No. And it's like you're 20, you're 15, you're 18.
No, they're going for lip injections at 14 or younger. I mean, it's
crazy.
I mean, I personally don't agree with that, but it's each to their own. I mean, I think that's been overdone. I think when it becomes obvious that you're doing something, that's when enhancement doesn't look good. It's when you're enhancing your actual beauty, your natural beauty, that I think it looks better. But it's to each to want to do what they want to do.
you're going to see things swing back to natural.
Yeah.
Totally.
You think so, Justin? I don't think so. No, I think the pendulum's gone and it's going more.
Pendulum's gone.
All right, let's come back. Let's come back in a couple of years because
the Kardashians have taken this to a whole new level, and I don't think it's going away.
The pendulum always swings too far.
I've never had someone say the pendulum's gone.
It can't stay.
There's no pendulum. It's gone.
It's the Kardashian effect. It is the Kardashian effect for sure.
Tim, how big can the lips get? At some point, it's like dangerous.
I agree. I think if it's obvious, it doesn't look good. It looks like, in my opinion, if it's obvious, it doesn't look good. If you're enhancing your natural beauty, and some people get it right, I'd say more people get it wrong than get it right, though.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin, have you done any microneedling, microdermabrasion? What have you done to your face?
A couple of years ago, I had a little bit of acne. I went on YouTube. I found the gayest YouTuber with the most followers. This dude knew everything. He gave me exactly what products to buy, bought them, fixed it. That's it. I've never done anything since.
Did it work?
Totally.
Yep. I want to understand more. I want to get into the business model, the square footage, the investment. Item 19, if we have one. Let's just start with the footprint of the franchise. What size space do we need for this?
You could go as small as, say, 1,000 square feet. That'd be 3 rooms.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
We love small footprints.
Wow.
I mean, with 3 estheticians, you'd likely be profitable. You're not going to need a lot of overhead. You're going to have a manager, part-time assistant, front desk person, 3 esties. Your overhead's not going to be that high because your rent's not going to be that high for 1,000 square feet.
Right.
Staff's not that high, but you could still do 3 times 7 to 8 a day, 21 a day. You could do 450 facials, 400 to 450 a month. Our average revenue per facial's probably around 150. So you could do 60,000 a month if you did 400.
This is the benefit of a founder starting out in an expensive market. They understand the cost of real estate in some of these areas. It's the founders who start out in the middle of nowhere. Once they get to Seattle, Northern California, they don't. It's like, whoa, my franchisee is going to be paying $15,000, $20,000 a month in rent. It's like, do you plan on doing $3 million in revenue?
We do not recommend that. Nobody's going to make $3 million in revenue in this business. This business is more suited towards somebody making 60,000, but keeping their overhead down under 40.
That's right.
That's the better option. And that's where 1,000 square feet or 1,500 square feet, where you got 3 or 4 rooms and you got 3 or 4 estheticians, a front desk person or assistant manager, and the manager could be the owner, operator. You're down to salaries and pay down 15,000 or less, your rent at 4,000 or less, and your product costs and advertising, maybe you're at 30 all in. So if you're doing even 40, you're still doing okay. If you're doing 50, you're doing great. If you're doing 60, you're doing phenomenal. So to me, it's better to keep the overhead low and keep the traffic, be busy, rather than having a large location and trying to fill that up.
When you say 40, 50, 60, just for clarity, what are you referring to? Monthly revenue or annualized net?
Monthly revenue.
Excellent. 40, 50, 60,000 a month. Do we have an item 19?
We've got an item 19, but it's not, that's not in there. What's in there is the gross margins, the new members, the product, average product sale per visit, and something else. But the revenue is not in there.
Okay. How many locations are operating?
Yeah, it looks like there's a few in Nebraska. Great. Are those your first franchisees in Nebraska?
No, those are corporates. One is a pseudo franchise, but me and Shea are the franchisee. So we call it a corporate store. We don't really call it a franchise. But no, we have franchisees on the go right now, but we have no franchisees open.
Okay. All right. So the item 19 just talks about margins and how much money they could make, but not how much, let's say, top line gross or bottom line. And that's fine. At least you've given someone something to extrapolate to understand.
It's not difficult. It's not difficult to do the math, right? Right. Everybody can figure out their rent, their product costs, their staffing, their advertising. So it ultimately, we made the mistake of opening up 2 locations with 6 rooms, right? So we know now that that doesn't make any sense. You're better off to have 3 or 4 rooms.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying when women, as it relates to men in the store, the business mix? I'm seeing more and more
We
men
don't have
getting involved in
a
this.
lot of men that come in. I mean, now part of that could be the Midwest crowd, the Lincoln, Omaha crowd, where less men may be into self-care than New York or California. So that could partially be it. Even in Brentwood's outside of the city, whereas if we were in San Fran, for sure we'd have more men. But ultimately, it's probably 95% women.
Okay. I heard a lot about the products. I haven't heard anything about membership. What are your thoughts on a membership model versus just a la carte?
No, we do have a membership model where either they can buy monthly or they can buy packages of 12s, 18s, and 24s, and we offer a discount. And the majority of our business is either monthly or package memberships, one of the two.
Okay. Love membership models. So we have a flat royalty. We have proprietary products. Can't get them anywhere but you. I'm sure you're controlling the manufacturing. I actually met with my dermatologist recently, and I go, she's telling me I got to get this product. And I said, do you realize that nearly every product that you told me to put on my face has been found with benzene in it, a year later? She goes, well, how am I supposed to know? And I go, and that's exactly why you shouldn't be pushing products, because you don't know. But you keep pushing things, and they keep finding out that they have known carcinogens in them. What have you done as a company to make sure that these products are clean?
I mean, we are the ingredient. That's our main thing. It's all about the ingredients for us. So we don't have benzene in our products. We have mostly natural ingredients in our products.
Little salicylic acid, little
salicylic acid for acne, and glycolic acid. You have to have it, or it's just not going to deal with the acne as well. But we offset that with aloe vera, witch hazel, tea tree oil, hemp oil, probiotics, etc. Right? So we offset it with a lot of soothing things, like the aloe will soothe the skin after the salicylic or glycolic
can be harsh.
does the damage, but you've got to dry it out a bit, right? Hyaluronic acid, which is not more natural. It's not that synthetic. We do have some peptides that does boost your skin a bit, but we don't have any benzene or anything like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect you do. I was just making sure that there is some type of quality control oversight.
We really do focus on natural ingredients.
That's great. How long is the treatment? If I go into let's say you have 3 rooms, how long would a customer be in that room?
You could either get an hour, which is 55 minutes, or you could get a 25, a half hour, one of the two.
Okay, got it.
If you're going in regularly, you could get a decent treatment in 25. But if you're not in there as often, you probably want the 50, 55 for self-care reasons too, for both.
So Tim, there are a bunch of brands getting into this category right now. For someone who's exploring skincare, besides having an experienced, successful entrepreneur, what separates this brand? Why Skin Experts?
I think the big thing is that Shelley Hancock, our chief beauty officer, she has been a leading esthetician trainer in the U.S. for 30 years. She had a top 4 wellness radio show. She's got 12,000 estheticians that follow her and that buy product and equipment off of her, including our products and equipment. And, we really are on the leading edge of treatments. Any of the latest equipment that comes out in Asia, and that's where the best equipment comes from, Shelley's on top of it right away, right out of the gate. Any of the latest ingredients in products, again, she's on top of it right out of the gate. Our president and managing partner, which you didn't meet, Marissa Cashel, ran 70 European wax centers, so in a similar business. So you've got a lot of experience on the beauty side, on the operations side, and on the sales side. So a lot of support. And the biggest thing is, as you can see, our offer is very fair, a very low franchise fee and a very, very good discount on your products. So you're going to make money two ways: selling memberships and treatments, and selling product. And in both cases, we're taking less than anyone else is. We're only taking 35% on the product costs side, and we're taking only a flat fee of $1,500 on the franchise side, where everybody else is taking 6 to 8%. So if you go to an average sales of 60,000, rather than paying, call it 8%, which would be 4,800, it's 1,500. And then rather than paying half on your product, let's say your product sales are 15,000 of that, rather than paying 7,500, you're only paying 5,000. So it's a big savings.
I agree. The royalty being capped, it's capped. It's not laddered. It's just capped.
Yeah.
Man, that's like what? Not even. It's $25,000 worth of revenue that you're paying a royalty on in a normal royalty environment. That's really impressive. What's the total cost to develop? Do we know the item 7?
Again, we know what our stores cost, because our stores, the one in Brentwood, we built right in the midst of COVID. Okay, so we were paying through the teeth, and then the 2 stores in Nebraska are both 2,500 square feet, so we paid too much. But for a 1,500 square foot location in not the most expensive place in the world, say not New York, Beverly Hills, Miami, or Scottsdale. Okay, not those 4 locations. Okay, realistically, it's just walls, and we got the cabinetry down really cheap. It's beautiful cabinetry, and having that built in the Midwest is a big savings. You could get the build done for between 200 and 300, and then another 100 worth of equipment and furnishings, and you're in.
Okay.
Item 7, Cliff, is 375 to 865. So again, it sounds like they went too big with a few, but the goal would be to try to keep this under $500,000.
That was our own. We're doing that from our own. Where Brentwood, we pay. That's California, and we were in COVID, right? So we were paying. Our first store, it was like, okay, just get it done already, and we overpaid for that one. And the ones in Nebraska are 2,500 square feet each. We would never recommend anybody opens up a 2,500 square foot store. So it's not going to be as much.
Your marketing is incredible. You've done a great job on the marketing. I mean, it was a standout marketing piece when we met you in the Diplomat down the water. Like really, it really was well that done. It was that impactful. It was like, man, whoever. Where did you do that? That was a third party, that marketing piece?
No, that's Shea and Anthony. That's we're doing that internally. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
well done. Yeah.
The in-store design is impressive. It looks spa-like.
No, it's beautiful.
Cool.
Spas are beautiful. The treatments are beautiful. The product's phenomenal. Our reorder rate's extremely high. Everything about it's good. Again, I wish there was one near me. I'd be our best client.
Yeah. Every time I get a facial, I say the same thing. I'm like, that was amazing. I need to do this once a month. And then it's like a year later. For some reason, it's only when I'm on vacation. My wife has lured me into, getting a pedicure with her just to do things together. She's like, come get a pedi with me. Let's do things together. So I ended up doing these things. And I'm like, man, this is great.
This is why you don't age.
No, it is. It's, as I said, I wish we had one near us. I'd be in there once a week.
I got to do it more often. It's true. And I don't want to do it, like you said, at $300. I want a reasonable, and I want a product that's going to, as you said, make you feel and look good at the same time. I want to check both boxes, and it needs to be affordable. I don't want to do some high end, because I do it when I'm on vacation, and it's always at a hotel property resort where I'm, grabbing ankles to do these things.
You've been getting hydrofacials. Now you're learning that they're tugging on your skin. It's like eggs are good, eggs are bad. There's always something to worry about.
That egg thing sounds pretty interesting.
Eggs are good, Tim. You're allowed to eat the yolk. All the vitamins are in the yolk. Yolks are back.
Right on. I'm going to go have an egg right now. Actually, I haven't. I've only had some. So I got to go have a couple eggs now that you mentioned it.
Thanks for coming on, Tim.
Yeah, Tim, we appreciate it.
I'm glad I could make it. You guys were really interesting to chat with.
We appreciate you being here. You have a great weekend. Good. You look good. You feel good. That's what matters. You're rich. God bless you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit subscribe for more great content. And if you're thinking about investing in a franchise, whether it's the one you just heard about or another opportunity, reach out to us at cliffn@francity.com. That's cliffn@FRANOCITY.com. We look forward to working with you.